Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Brett's Flix Fast Forward. Now I know it's been a little while since we've had any videos here up on Brett's Flix. Visiting family and doing other things and busy watching Loki. Wow. Season 1, that was kind of crazy, wasn't it? I genuinely enjoyed just about everything that show gave us. It kind of gave me more than I ever really expected it to give me as well. That show went everywhere, all over the place, but in the right way. They did it the right way. First of all, the concept alone is wonderful.
The idea that your little club decides the fate of trillions of people across all of existence at the behest of 3 space lizards, yes, it's funny.
And brilliant, and probably the most outright science fiction thing other than time travel that the MCU has done. And that was really exciting to me as a fan of classic sci-fi. You can absolutely feel the influences from wonderful directors such as Terry Gilliam.
You must have hopes, wishes, dreams.
No, nothing. Not even dreams.
You can feel that oddness, especially in the offices of the TVA. There's that weird quirkiness everything's just slightly off kilter and absolutely influenced by films like Brazil and 12 Monkeys and Time Bandits.
Time Bandits can offer you much, much more.
Owen Wilson?
Wow.
I love Owen Wilson.
Wow.
He's wonderful. If you're around my age, you've probably grown up with different comedies from Owen Wilson, like Wedding Crashers,
Sanjay Collins, Chuck Vindaloo,
Seamus O'Toole,
Bobby O'Shea.
I'm ready to get drunk.
and Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights.
Hey, I can see our hotel from here.
And the guy definitely has a wonderful comedic edge, but it's very rare that he is given a chance to actually stretch his dramatic acting. And I think they challenged him well here. He isn't fully serious. He's still Owen Wilson, but he's Owen as a much more mature and refined individual.
I'm Agent Mobius, by the way.
And I just absolutely loved Mobius. He was a wonderful character. The whole thing about the jet skis, pretty much everything Owen Wilson did, he really owned in that role, and I really appreciated that. Obviously, Tom Hiddleston is wonderful as Loki. He's always been great as Loki, and he will continue to be great as Loki. Probably the best written villainous character in all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thanos, real good.
You should have gone for the head.
Excellently well written. Killmonger, also a very well written character, but time and time again, Loki is just the one that you gravitate to the most. He's the one that's had the most amount of screen time compared to the other antagonists in the MCU, and so he has had a wonderful arc throughout the films, and it's great seeing that expanded upon now. And they use this really great Aaron Sorkin-y cyclical writing where the theme originally within the opening episode is they discuss how Loki is a springboard for other people. He is used so other people can have journeys that change them, like Thor and Captain America and Iron Man and people like that. And Mobius tells Loki that he himself is almost not allowed to have his own arc because that's not what he's there for. He's there to be a springboard for other characters. That is wonderfully visualized in the end episode of season 1 with, spoiler alert, Kang! We're getting Kang the Conqueror already? Wow. Jonathan Majors really stole the show as Kang. He was magnetic and so energetic in every single moment that he's on screen. He really captures you, and that's really great, because not only is he having to hold his own on screen next to heavy hitters like Tom Hiddleston and Sophia DiMartino, but we need to establish that Kang is a presence that will be not only enjoyed throughout the rest of his time here on the MCU, but he also needs to be interesting enough that we're not going to care as an audience to keep coming back to him. And I think they did an excellent job of kind of guaranteeing that each time we see Kang, it's going to be a different kind of experience. But I digress. having a Loki be responsible for the breaking of the multiverse and basically springboarding all the stories for our other characters is a wonderful visual representation of how they discuss Loki as a character in the beginning. But that doesn't mean that Loki doesn't also have his own character arc. He's had a brilliant one throughout all of the movies, and now that continues with him kind of being plucked out of that character arc halfway through and then being shown the results and having to deal with like the internal ramifications of that. From Loki's perspective, he just made a deal with Thanos and then he sees that that's the guy that kills him, and not only that, but he like reconciles with his brother and does all these great things before that happens, and he truly becomes like a good person. I mean, how do you take that in? Especially with like knowing who Loki is in 2012.
And I will not be bullied by that.
I think Hiddleston did a great job of Loki recognizing like, ah shit, like I kind of actually am like a decent human being, but then like fighting that and being like, no, but I'm a Loki, like I have to be a jerk. But you know, that's more like for his own ego and his own, like he says, it's his own like protective, like defense mechanism is like hurting other people so that he, you know, wonderful, wonderful writing, very well done. But I would be remiss to discuss the show without talking about Sylvie, played by Sophia Di Martino. She's wonderful. She's great. I haven't seen her in a whole lot of stuff, but wow. She really owned that role. She really gave us a nuanced, complex performance as a Loki that has grown up in this other kind of circumstance, and you really feel for her. And any fans of Doctor Who knows that, you know, when any villainous person meets their doppelganger, they have to kind of have a connection. Because of how narcissistic they are, that's the only reason that works. And it works really well.
By the way, is it wrong that
Yes. Very.
Speaking of other Lokis, though, we got classic Loki, we got boastful Loki, we got president, like, dictator Loki, we got kid Loki who killed Thor, badass, and the most adorable of all, Croaky.
I mean, who's to say he's even a Loki variant?
He's green, isn't he?
I don't know, he could be lying, the long con. Of course, that just makes him more likely to be a Loki.
Wonderful. Really, really random decision to do that, but it was wonderful. I loved it. I can understand some people being like a little disappointed with the finale because it is mostly a conversation held over a desk, but everyone's performances, especially Jonathan Majors, was so worth it and made me not give a shit that I was just watching people have this conversation, because I was into that conversation and he really pulled me in with what was going on. Granted, there's a little too much exposition with his little like, you know, demonstration of, you know, his history and the timeline and stuff. I get that. It's a whatever, but I'm okay with that because I know that this is not the end. And also, as a writer, I know that if this show wasn't getting a season 2, this would not have been the ending. The person in charge would have been another version of Loki or something. It would have been a complete full circle with Loki's character. But knowing that we're jumping off and expanding into like more adventures and using this to burst the multiverse wide open, it's totally fine, and I'm okay with that because it's the promise of an even greater adventure in season 2. I am going to give this show, I mean, right now, I would say it's right there with WandaVision in my opinion. So that's a 9.8. However, that is just with the knowledge that this is only the first season. So I could see this show expanding and getting even better and becoming a full straight 10 out of 10.
Wow. Right? Great. Amazing.
It could also be one of those shows in which the first season is the best and then it slowly goes downhill, and then that will bring my ranking down a little bit.
What part of imminent death confuses you?
It's kind of hard when reviewing a complete series compared to just a season 1 because their story is complete. This story is not. So we have to judge it based on what we're given. What we're given so far is fucking awesome, and I cannot wait to see what else Marvel does. Until the next time, this is Brett from Brett's Flix, and I hope you have a great day. Take it easy, everybody.
Die!